When you talk about fighters who blew your mind, who made you question what was possible inside the cage, one name always rises above the rest. Anderson, the Spider Silva, is right at the top. He's the kind of athlete who didn't just win fights, he redefined what it meant to be a mixed martial artist. He wasn't just a champion, he was an artist in the octagon, painting masterpieces with every movement, every strike, every dodge. Silva moved in ways others could only dream of. Fans packed arenas just to see what he'd do next. There was a sense of electricity in the air whenever he fought, a feeling that you might witness something you'd never seen before. His reign in the UFC middleweight division was legendary, a string of victories that left everyone in awe. He defended his title again and again, making it look almost effortless. What set him apart? Reflexes. Insane, almost superhuman reflexes. It was as if he could see punches coming before his opponents even threw them. He dodged punches and kicks with a little lean or bob, making world-class strikers look slow. His head movement was poetry in motion, a dance that left his rivals swinging at air. Silva turned not getting hit into an art form, sometimes standing with his hands down, daring opponents to try. He played mind games, luring them in, making them overcommit. He made them miss by inches, putting on a show every time. The crowd would gasp as he slipped away from danger, then explode when he countered with pinpoint accuracy. This ability to dodge, to see things before they happened, is what made Silva a legend. He seemed to read his opponents' minds, always one step ahead. Years later, people still watch his highlights and ask, how did he do that? His fights are studied by new generations, hoping to unlock his secrets. It wasn't just speed, it was anticipation, a deep understanding of movement and fighting. Silva's timing and awareness were on another level, almost like he was playing chess while everyone else played checkers. Anderson Silva's reflexes changed the game and made him unforgettable. He inspired a generation of fighters and fans, and his legend continues to grow with every replay and every story told. Silva's defense was on another level. He didn't just avoid punches, he made it look effortless, almost like he was predicting his opponent's every move before it even happened. Watching him in the cage, you could see a master at work, someone who understood the art of not getting hit better than almost anyone in MMA history. While most fighters block or run, Silva used head movement, slips, and subtle shifts that left opponents swinging at air. His reactions were so quick, it was as if he could see punches coming in slow motion, giving him all the time in the world to respond. He'd bait them, hands low, chin exposed, daring them to attack. This wasn't just showmanship, it was a calculated risk, a psychological game that forced his opponents to overcommit and lose their composure. When they did, he'd evade with the smallest movement, making their best shots miss by a hair. The margin for error was razor thin, but Silva thrived in that space, always just out of reach. It was beautiful, skill and confidence in motion. Every slip, every weave was a statement. Silva was in control, dictating the pace and rhythm of the fight. His defense frustrated opponents, making them desperate and sloppy. You could see the irritation on their faces as their attacks failed again and again, their confidence slowly draining away. That's when Silva struck back, using their mistakes against them. He'd wait for the perfect moment, then unleash a counter that was as precise as it was devastating. His defense wasn't just about safety, it was a weapon, breaking opponents mentally before physically. By the time Silva landed his shots, his opponents were already defeated in their minds. He could slip a whole combination, jab, cross, hook, like water around rocks. It was as if he flowed through danger, untouched and unbothered, making even the most skilled strikers look ordinary. Silva stayed in the pocket, avoided damage, and countered with deadly accuracy. He didn't need to run. He stood his ground, trusting his instincts and reflexes. Most fighters choose defense or offense. Silva did both, thanks to his reflexes and genius timing. He blurred the line between the two, making every movement count. He played chess while others played checkers. Every feint, every slip, was a move in a larger strategy, always thinking several steps ahead. That's what made him unique. Silva's defensive genius wasn't just about avoiding punches, it was about controlling the fight, breaking spirits, and showing the world a new level of mastery inside the cage. The Forrest Griffin fight is Silva's reflexes at their peak. UFC 101 Silva moved up in weight against a bigger, tougher former champ. From the start, Forrest couldn't touch him. Silva dodged everything, hands down, making it look effortless. Forrest grew frustrated, swinging at a ghost. Silva's casual grace was almost disrespectful, but mesmerizing. Then came the knockdowns. Silva dropped Forrest with a backward jab, just a jab. Forrest got up, confused, only to be dropped again by a precise right. The final blow. Silva, backpedaling, landed a short right that ended it. It was over. Effortless domination. Silva made a tough former champion look outclassed. Commentators were stunned. Fans couldn't believe it. That fight cemented Silva as a pound-for-pound great. It was a masterclass in striking and evasion. If you want to see Silva's reflexes, this is the fight. Pure artistry. Silva vs. Vitor Belfort at UFC 126. Another iconic moment in the history of mixed martial arts. The anticipation for this fight was electric, with fans around the world tuning in to witness two of Brazil's finest warriors collide on the sport's biggest stage. Two Brazilian legends, both explosive strikers, facing off with massive hype. The tension in the air was almost tangible, as both men carried reputations for finishing fights in spectacular fashion. The fight was tense, both men cautious, waiting for an opening. Every feint, every movement was calculated, as they searched for the slightest mistake to capitalize on. Then, out of nowhere, Silva lifted his lead leg and snapped a front kick straight to Vitor's chin. It was a move rarely seen at this level, executed with perfect form and lightning speed. Vitor froze, then collapsed, one of the most replayed knockouts ever. The crowd erupted, stunned by the suddenness and brutality of the finish, the precision, the timing, the audacity. It was pure Silva. He made the extraordinary look effortless, cementing his reputation as a true artist inside the cage. Nobody saw it coming, least of all Vitor. Even seasoned analysts were left speechless, struggling to process what they had just witnessed. That front kick became legendary overnight. It was instantly replayed on highlight reels, discussed by fans and fighters alike, and etched into MMA history. It wasn't just technique, it was setup, timing, and body control. Silva's ability to disguise his intentions and strike with such accuracy set him apart from his peers. To land that kick in a title fight against a dangerous opponent, next level. It was a risk, but Silva's confidence and skill made it look inevitable. Steven Seagal tried to take credit, but the magic was all Silva. The technique may have been taught, but the execution belonged to the champion alone. The kick was direct, efficient, and devastating. It showed the world that in MMA, anything can happen in the blink of an eye. It summed up Silva's ability to end fights in spectacular, unexpected ways. He was a master of the unpredictable, always keeping his opponents guessing. His reflexes and fight IQ were on full display. Silva's legacy was built on moments like this, where genius met opportunity. A moment that defined his career and inspired a new generation of fighters to dream bigger, take risks, and believe in the impossible. Beyond the famous fights, Silva's career is packed with jaw-dropping moments. Against Stefan Bonnar, Silva stood against the cage, inviting punches, and slipped everyone. He made it look unfair, like a bullfighter without the cape. Against Yushin Okami, his reflexes extended to takedown defense, shifting his weight instantly to stay upright. Even early in his career, you saw flashes of brilliance, unorthodox moves, supreme confidence. Silva wasn't afraid to experiment, trusting his ability to react and counter. Sometimes it wasn't about flashy knockouts, but minutes of pure elusiveness. He'd make top strikers miss, wear them down, then pick his shots. His reflexes weren't just for highlights, they were the foundation of his dominance. That's what made him so hard to beat. How did Silva get these video game reflexes? It wasn't magic. Years of dedicated training shaped him. Capoeira gave him rhythm, unpredictability, and fluid movement. His boxing, especially defense, was drilled endlessly, making slipping punches second nature. He combined capoeira's unorthodox style with slick boxing, creating something unique. Silva was a phenomenal athlete. Body control, balance, coordination, and sharp eyesight. He could see punches coming and react in a split second. Part of it was anticipation, reading opponents, picking up on their habits. That's fight IQ, developed over years. It was natural talent, smart training, and a brilliant mind. That's the recipe for untouchability. Silva's reflexes were a psychological weapon. Imagine throwing your best shots and he's just not there, sometimes smiling as he dodges. That messes with your head, makes you doubt yourself. He'd taunt, hands low, inviting you to try, then make you miss. Opponents got frustrated, abandoned their game plans, and made mistakes. Silva broke their will without even landing big shots. His reputation alone intimidated fighters before the fight even started. He carried himself with calm confidence, while opponents were tense. That psychological edge is huge in MMA. He often had guys beaten before they stepped in the cage. When you can't hit him, and you know it, you're fighting Silva's fight. He controlled the pace, the distance, and their minds. Silva's reflexes weren't just about speed. His timing, distance control, and precision set him apart. He moved at the perfect moment, never too early, never too late. He felt the rhythm, anticipated strikes, and slipped them by the smallest margin. Silva mastered range, staying just out of reach but close enough to counter. He'd make you think you could hit him, then punish you for missing. Managing distance was an art, and Silva was a master. When he countered, his shots were laser accurate. He didn't need volume, just one perfect strike. The front kick on Belfort, the jab on Griffin, precision at its finest. His greatness was the combination of timing, distance, and accuracy. That's what made him truly special. Anderson Silva's legacy is secure. He's remembered as an innovator, an artist, and a game-changer in MMA. His reflexes made elite fighters look ordinary. Moments burned into every fan's memory. He held the UFC middleweight title for nearly 7 years, with 10 defenses. But it wasn't just the wins, it was how he won, with creativity and flair. Silva inspired a generation, showing you could be both an entertainer and a dominant champion. Fighters now try to emulate his style, but what Silva had was unique. He proved defense could be as thrilling as offense. When we look back, we remember the records, the knockouts, but most of all, the breathtaking skill. Silva wasn't just a fighter, he was an icon. He made the impossible look easy. That's why he's considered one of the greatest, maybe the greatest. His legend will live as long as MMA exists.